two branches. It divides into two branches called primary branches. What is this? Primary branches. Primary branches. Clear? Now, at the level of, let me show you in this, we'll discuss in this diagram. If this is the, if you remember, we have drawn the larynx. Larynx से क्या आएगा? Trachea आएगा. Trachea से क्या होगा? Divide होगा. किसमें divide होगा? It will divide into primary bronchus. Are you understanding primary bronchus? At what vertebrae it divides? It divides at fifth vertebrae, fifth thoracic vertebrae. See, vertebral column has vertebrae. Okay, उसमें vertebrae, among those vertebrae, the fifth, at the fifth thoracic vertebrae, this trachea divides into two. Very important question, T5. Very important question. Branches of primary bronchus will then show trees. Okay, how do they show trees? Now this is the lung. Okay, let me draw. This is the lung. One side lung I have drawn. Okay, now what happened? The primary will divide into secondary bronchus. Primary किस में divide हुआ? Secondary में. फिर secondary, for example, this is secondary bronchus. Secondary वापस किस में divide होगा? Tertiary में. Tertiary bronchus will divide further into terminal. Tertiary will divide into terminal. Tertiary will divide into terminal. Let me write it here. This is terminal bronchus or bronchiole bronchus. Okay, and this pink one is tertiary bronchus. Then the orange one is secondary bronchus, and the green one is primary bronchus.
Ma'am,
Now, your questions should be in the chat box. Then, tertiary bronchus will further divide into what? Into lobular bronchiole. It will divide into lobular bronchiole. Next, after the tertiary divides in lobular bronchiole, it further divides into terminal bronchiole. Degree know that is, this is primary, not degree, primary, secondary, tertiary. The names. Terminal bronchiole. Terminal bronchiole further divides into what? A respiratory bronchiole. Respiratory bronchiole will further divide into alveolar duct. Alveolar duct will further end lastly with alveolar sac, that is alveoli. Do you understand? One primary bronchus will divide into secondary Many secondary bronchus, many secondary to many tertiary, many tertiary to many terminal to lobular bronchiole, terminal bronchiole, respiratory bronchiole, and alveolar duct. Finally, it leads end up into alveoli. This is fully covered. The lungs are fully covered by this branching tree. Done? Is it done?
Yes, ma'am.
So this all from primary bronchioles to the respiratory bronchioles, it make what? It make it has bronchial tree. So bronchial tree create the branching that appears from primary bronchus to respiratory bronchiole. This is called bronchial tree. Bronchial tree. Now, this bronchial tree is divided into two. This bronchial tree is divided into two. And what is the fifth thoracic vertebrae? I was disconnected. Fifth thoracic vertebrae is, you can see this is a trachea. Rishikesh, this is trachea. Now this trachea will divide into two at thoracic vertebrae number 5. Backside you have vertebrae, right? So at T5 vertebrae, this trachea will divide into two primary bronchus. Now what did I was saying? Bronchial tree are two now. What is a bronchial tree true? One is, okay. Here the screen is not lagging. I'm looking into the different system also, but it's not lagging. Can you please check with the internet connection? Okay, you write down this much and then we'll discuss. Let me know once you're done with the writing part. Done? Can we move to the next? I'm waiting for you all. Yes. So now, bronchial tree, bronchial tree is from primary bronchus to respiratory bronchiole is forming a forming what? Forming the bronchial tree. Now this bronchial tree is divided into, respirate bronchial tree is divided into, wait a minute, let me erase this. Now this tree which is formed is divided. Now this tree is divided into, one is bronchial tree, other is respiratory tree. Respiratory tree. Bronchial tree is from where to where, my dear students? Bronchial tree is until the terminal bronchiole. until the terminal bronchiole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 1 to 6 comes under bronchial tree, whereas 1, 2, and 3. 1 to 3 comes under respiratory tree. Bronchial tree, they have cartilaginous ring. They have cartilaginous ring until where? This all are the cartilaginous rings present until the terminal bronchiole. But whereas respiratory bronchial alveolar duct do not have cartilaginous ring. They do not have cartilaginous ring. Done? 1 to 6 forms a bronchial tree. They have cartilaginous rings. 1 to 3 here. 1, 2, and 3. These are respiratory which do not have what? Which do not have cartilaginous ring. Or you can write down A, B, C if it's confusing. A, B, and C. A to C. Any doubts? Everybody go through it and let me know if you have any doubts with this slide. Can we all move to the next if there are no doubts? If there are no doubts, can we move to the next?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Next. So ये हो गया bronchus के bronchial tree के बारे में. Now we have studied about larynx. We have studied about trachea. We have studied about the bronchial tree. Now we need to study about the lungs. So next topic is lungs. Now, we'll draw lungs. Which side lung is larger?
Right side.
Right side. Smart. Done. Oblique fissure. 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 Clear? Are you done? Quick, quick, quick. Yes, yes. Is a cardiac notch. There is to accommodate the heart. Done, Rishikesh. Very good. So listen, everyone. Abide, listen. So lung is where a pair of lung is present in the thoracic cavity. Do you agree? And the lung is covered by, there's a right lung, there is a left lung. You know, right lung is longer or bigger than the left lung. Right lung has two fissures. The right lung has two fissures. One is horizontal fissures, another is oblique fissure. Whereas left lung has only one fissure. So this divides the lung of the right side into three lobes and the lung of the left side into two lobes. Next. Now next. The lungs is covered, the membranes of the lungs is called pleural membrane. What they are called? Pleura membrane. The lungs membranes are called pleural membrane. The outer is called parietal pleura. Outer is parietal pleura and the inner is visceral pleura. In between the outer and inner, there is a cavity that is called pleural cavity. This cavity is called pleural cavity. This cavity is not empty. This cavity is filled by pleural fluid. What is the function of pleural fluid? To reduce the friction on the lung surface. The presence of pleural fluid is important because it reduces the friction on the lung surface. Next, very important question. Where is this cardiac notch present? Whether it is, let me see who will answer. Cardiac notch is present whether it is in the right lung or the left lung.
Left lung.
Left lung. Whether it is present in the left lung of the anterior lobe or the posterior lobe, a very important question. Many will go and many will mark it as what? The question is whether the cardiac notch is very important. It is to note that you should know it is anterior lobe. Many will go and mark for the posterior lobe. That is the wrong answer. Is it clear? A point to be noted down here, cardiac notch is present on the anterior lobe, not on the posterior lobe. Next, the heart is usually present on the right side, but it is most tilted towards the left because the cardiac notch is present on the left side. Is this point clear? Then below that there is a muscular structure that is called diaphragm. We'll study about this. Have you understood about the lungs? Any question related to the lungs? I'll give you 1 minute to revise, not 1 minute, 30 seconds to revise quickly. If you have any doubts, you can clear your doubts. Clear? Can we move to the next? Is it clear? Sorry. Ma'am, what is the difference between pleural cavity and... See, pleural cavity is a space between parietal pleura and distal pleura. That is a cavity. The liquid that is present in the pleural cavity is pleural fluid. Got the point? Cavity is a space. Fluid is a liquid which is present in that cavity. Is it point clear? Quickly tell me yes or no.
Yes, ma'am. Got it, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So this is all about the lungs. We have studied this. Can you see the branching of the tree? There is no function, Amod, just a dividing. It is dividing the lungs. Can you see this tree? This is how it looks. Now, after we have studied about the lungs, we need to study the structural and functional unit of lungs. Which is the structural and functional unit of lungs? Who will answer me now?
Alveoli.
Very good. Alveoli. Alveoli is structural and functional unit of, very important question, is alveoli. Let's move to study alveoli now. Okay. Alveoli are the structural functional unit of lungs. If I draw an alveoli here, first we'll draw, okay? Then we'll understand. A direct question to you all. The alveoli are dash aligned by dash cells. Which cells? Who will answer? Let me see. First question. Alveoli are lined by dash types of cells. Very good, very good, Yash. Simple squamous epithelial cells. Sakshi, very good. Do you remember first class? Supra, very good. Simple, yes. Simple squamous epithelial cells. Do you remember? Very nice. Very smart. Next. What are these cells? These are alveoli, simple squamous epithelial cells. Alveoli, simple squamous. You want me to write down or SS? I've written SS. Epithelial cells. These cells are called as pneumocytes. The cells of alveoli are called as pneumocytes. These pneumocytes are of two types. Let me write. The green one are pneumocyte type 1. See, who removed Sanika from the meeting? Who is that removing Sanika from the meeting? See, do not do this. Otherwise, I'm not going to take classes for anyone. I'm not going to take the classes. I'm telling you, this is the last warning what I'm giving you. If you don't want me to take classes, tell me straightforward, I'll not take the classes. But don't play with the teams. You remain student one by one. I don't like that. Otherwise, I'll tell I'm not going to take classes for you. I'll take only for the integrated batch, only for the coaching batch, not for the integrated batch. What kind of a behavior is this? I have told you 100 times, do not remove anybody from the group. If you don't want to be in the class, you are welcome to move out. But don't trouble other. This is the last warning. The reason why I'm not keeping this, I want to see who is doing, in spite of telling so many times, who is that person who is not able to understand what a other person is saying. The request, you are not able to understand the request. If you have a bit of shame, the person who has removed Sanika just now, you will come back to me and tell me, ma'am, I did it. I'll not do the next time. Send me on my chat box. Who has done it? Send me on my chat box right now. Otherwise, I'm not going to teach you. This is the last. This will be the last class. I should take a precautions. I trust you people and you want me to take a precaution of doing the settings. Why can't we all work together and learn together? Why should I be so strict with you for learning? Why don't you understand the simple things? We all are here to learn. And one people remove other. What is this nonsense? I'm telling you, the last time I'm telling you, if you don't want to be in my class, you are welcome to move out. But I'll take the class for the students who are interested. I don't want to keep any boundaries in learning. This is the last warning what I'm giving you. Don't make me disappoint. I'm telling you again and again. If you have a bit of shame that if you've done it and you realize your mistakes, please text me and tell me I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it again. If you really want to be success in the life, try to adapt what you have done it. You understand? Whoever it is, I don't know whoever it is. If you have a bit of shame, if you realize your mistake, text me. That shows how much courage you have. Doing from behind and hiding and doing the things everybody does. This is so bad. And in between like these things, I do not like. This is the last warning what I'm giving you all. The reason why I don't want to keep, I have told you the reason. See, if the boundaries come, then everywhere the boundaries will come. Why should I share everything? I just come teach you and I leave the class. Why should I share my experience with you? Why should I share the things, how you can learn? Why should I? My job is just to teach you. I can teach and I just move, right? If you want me to be like that, I can be like that. Type 2 cells secretes lecithin, a phospholipid. Phospholipid that act as surfactant, which prevents. No, you can random. It is random, Amod. It's random, not alternate. which prevent collapsing of alveoli by reducing surface tension. How many alveoli are structural and functional unit? Write down. They are structural and functional unit. What? Of lungs. Functional. Lung. Right? Next. Structural and functional unit of lung. How many? Very important. Approximately 300 millions of alveoli in both lungs. Done? Write down. In between this alveoli, there are pores. In between the alveoli, there are pores. These pores are called very important pores of Kuhn. Very important pores of Kuhn present in the wall of alveoli. It's very minute pores. Okay, and they have special type of cells inside. There are special type of cells inside. These cells are called dust cells. Dust cells. What are dust cells? Dust cells are phagocytic cells. What are they? Phagocytic cells. Do you think the alveoli is solid or there is a cavity inside? What do you think? Do you think alveoli is solid or cavity present? Don't look at the diagram and say, okay? Come on, tell me. I'm waiting. Sanjana say cavity. Cavity. Shushti say cavity. Okay, remember, yeah, everybody will say cavity, but no cavity. Okay. Mammalian lungs are solid and spongy. There is no cavity. Mammalian lungs are spongy and solid, but there is no central cavity. Okay. Next. So what did I said? Alveoli are structural and functional unit of lungs. How many number? 300 millions number of alveoli in both the lungs, right? Alveoli cells, everybody listen, okay? Alveoli cells are lined by simple squamous epithelial cells. इस simple squamous epithelial cells के cells को क्या बोलते हैं? Pneumocytes. How many types? Type 1 and type 2. Type 1 helps in the exchange of gases, whereas type 2 helps to produce a surfactant secretion that will line and helps the alveoli from collapsing. Right? उसके बाद में there are special type of cells in the alveoli. Those are called phagocytic cells, and those cells are called dust cells. Next, pores. On the wall of alveoli there are pores, and those pores are called pores of Kuhn. Any doubts to anyone? Any doubts to anyone?
Ma'am,
Yes. Please text me.
What
Please
is-
text me. If you have what?
what is phagocytic cells?
Phagocytic cells. What is phagocytic cells? Phagocyte cells are those cells that eat the dead cells or unwanted cells. So in the lungs में कभी भी कुछ infection होगा, कभी भी कुछ cells जाएंगे which are foreign to the lungs. This phagocytic cells will eat those cells, unwanted cells. Is it clear? The question will be, dash are the phagocytic cells present in the lungs? Yes, engulfing them. So the dash are the phagocytic cells present in the lungs. Your answer should be dust cells. Is it clear to each and everyone there? Are you done with the writing? Unwanted cell eaters. Okay, not cell eaters, only they eat foreign cells. Clear? Clear, clear. Quick, quick. After asking question, do not disappear. Respond. Yes, clear, right? Okay. You can see the alveoli structure. How does it look? Everybody can see the structure of an alveoli. Can you all see the structure? Quickly say yes or no.
Yes, ma'am.
You can see how they are surrounded by blood vessels. You can see how they are surrounded by blood vessels. They are richly surrounded by blood vessels. That helps them for the gaseous exchange. So let's move. We have discussed about the lungs. You can see the diaphragm. You can see the heart. You can see the cardiac notch. You can see the trachea. You can see the larynx. You can see the epiglottis. You can see the bronchus. You can see the ribs. You can see the lungs. Yes. Next. We have studied this about, you can see the oblique fissure, superior fissure. You can see the various cardiac notches present on the anterior lobe, not in the posterior lobe. We have discussed this part. Okay, I'm not going to go again back. Okay, now next we need to discuss about the barriers of air exchange. Barriers. I was looking for one slide. Is it there? Yeah, here. Barriers of air exchange. When you see the barriers of air exchange, number of barriers, one is alveolar epithelium. This is the alveolar epithelium, right? That is simple squamous or pneumocytes. Then this is what? Blood vessels. Blood vessels are lined by which type of cells? This is endothelial. Do you agree? अभी endothelial के बाद में I'll show you the other slide. It will be easy. I can draw it and show you. Are you all done with this diagram? I need to erase. Let me erase this part.
Yes, ma'am.
Down. Okay, write down quickly. Fast, I'll be raising it quickly. If you have any doubts, write down. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now listen. ये एक alveoli है, right? Alveoli has what is richly surrounded by blood vessels. So एक blood vessel है, right? Blood vessel is again a having this is endothelial cells, simple squamous epithelial cells. Do you remember blood vessels also have simple squamous epithelial cells? Those are called
Yes,
endothelial
ma'am.
cells. Yes. So
Yes.
now अभी first barrier क्या है? First barrier, let me raise this. First barrier is the alveoli epithelium. Then second barrier, you know it is which one? This is endothelial, blood vessels का endothelial. और third barrier क्या है? ये space. Can you see the space in between these two? Can you see this space? Yes, in between these two. This space is the third barrier. So it is a interstitial space. First barrier, second barrier, and third barrier. समझ में आया आपको? Barriers in the number of barriers in the respiratory membrane is 3. Alveolar endothelial, epithelial, interstitial space, and endothelial. Understood the number of barriers in the respiratory membrane? अगर अगर ये आरबीसी है, आरबीसी से ऑक्सीजन जाना है तो पहले एंडोथेलियल को क्रॉस करना पड़ेगा, फिर किसको क्रॉस करना पड़ेगा, फिर क्रॉस करने का इंटरस्टिशियल स्पेस को, और फिर एल्वियोलार सेल्स को, और फिर वो जाएगा बाहर. समझ में आया? इसको नहीं समझ में आया? टेल मी, हु हैज नॉट अंडरस्टूड? Is anyone in the class who has not understood can raise the anyone in the class who have not understood can raise? Is everybody understood? Should I assume that everybody understood? Can I go to the next? Can I go to the next? No reply. What should I think? Should I go or should I wait?
Ma'am, go. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Can you see
ma'am.
this? Now, if you see this diagram, you will understand what I was talking about. See, it shows as cavity, but it is not a cavity. Your full lungs is solid and spongy. Okay, full lungs is solid and spongy. It's like a sponge. I hope everybody have seen the sponge. In the sponge, there are very fine pores like cavities. Those cavities they're talking about. But usually it is spongy and solid. Okay. Next, we'll be discussing about the diaphragm. Diaphragm is a muscular septum found only in mammals and crocodiles. Its muscles is called phrenic muscles or radial muscles. Diaphragm क्या है? Is a muscular septum found only in mammals. It's a characteristics of mammal but also present in crocodile. It's a muscles. उसके muscles को क्या बोलते हैं? Phrenic muscles or radial muscles. The muscles that are found in diaphragm are dash phrenic muscles or radial muscles. What are ribs? You know what are ribs? How many pair? 12 pairs of ribs. Dorsal surface ribs. If this is a vertebral column dorsal में है या ventral में है बॉडी के? Vertebral column dorsal में है या ventral में है?
Dorsal.
Vertebral column
Dorsal.
And sternum किधर है? Sternum और chest bone dorsal में है या ventral में है?
वेंट्रल वेंट्रल में
Very
है.
good. Ventral. So you have ventral. Ventral is sternum and dorsal is vertebral column. Now ribs, what we'll do on the dorsal side, they attach to vertebral column. Ribs on the dorsal side, they attach to vertebral column, and on the ventral side, they attach to sternum. Got the point? By this, what they form? They form the cage. And that cage, into this cage, what is present? Into this cage, what is present? Lungs are present. Are you understanding? In this case, lungs are present. Yes. I'll show you the image. Yeah. Can you see? This is sternum. Or backside, you have what? This is trachea, not this, but backside. Can you see the slide? What happened? This is sternum. Can you all see the sternum slide? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is sternum and this is trachea. This is trachea. Behind the, these are